So just as we were starting to see a bit of a wind down in terms of the news and all of the buzz that was happening around the sport of wrestling, last night we were hit by quite a bombshell piece of news with Bo Bassett announcing that he was decommitting from the University of Iowa. Now, he committed just 5 months ago, sometime in February earlier this year, and from then until now, it has been Bo Bassett in Iowa, married, and things have looked great. Iowa fandom has been in huge support of them. Things have been great, and until very recently, things looked like they were on the up and up in terms of Bo Bassett and Iowa. So I put some details together in terms of what people have been talking about and what's been reported, and just kind of want to take this video to have the opportunity to put things together and kind of make sure that all the facts are in one place, or at least all the facts that I could find. So let's start at the top, right? Two things happened last night. Two big things in terms of recruitment. Bo Bassett announced that he decommitted from the University of Iowa, and so he will not be pursuing them in terms of recruitment moving forward. And then shortly after that, his teammate Melvin Miller, and I believe half brother or something like that, removed Iowa from his top list of schools. I think he dropped to top 9 a couple days ago, and now he last night dropped it to top 8 with the caption "Family First." So from that, we were able to discern something is going on between Bo Bassett's family and the coaches, the program at Iowa. There's a rift between the two. That this is what we can tell from this stuff. And so this morning we heard some of the more detailed pieces of information from Willie Saylor and Christian Piles, from the informants or the sources, that they have. And these are some of the things that we got from that. Bo's family, or his father, or somebody in the Bo Bassett camp, they were making requests or demands in terms of travel and training accommodations from the Iowa coaches, saying, hey, we want to be able to be flown out to Iowa and train at with the Hawkeyes. And Tom Brands basically was saying that this couldn't be done, that there were compliance issues that they would run into, and this wasn't going to work out as an option for them. The quote that has been thrown around a bit to this point is Tom Brands telling the Bassett family something to the effect of, "Don't tell me how to run my program." Now, is that exactly what he said? I don't know. Who did he say it to? If he did say anything like that, I'm not sure. There was also reportedly a heated conversation between Tom Brands and Bo Bassett's mother. I'm not sure what those two need to be having a conversation for, but that's what we're hearing about. So with that, we did hear today, we heard this morning from Christian Piles that there is a top 3 school list for Bo Bassett, and that's Penn State, Oklahoma State, and Nebraska. Now, just looking at that list, just trying to move forward from the facts that we have, right? Penn State, they're already, insanely wealthy in terms of recruits and in terms of talent. So ideally, for the sake of fandom, it would be ideal not to see Penn State get Bo Bassett. And then, the assumption is that if you get Bo Bassett, you're going to also get Melvin Miller, and you're also going to get Keegan Bassett. That's the assumption. And you're going to lay down a pretty solid pipeline to get those 3 talents. Oklahoma State, not really a great fit for Bo Bassett. They have they're pretty healthy in terms of 41 to 57. So things just don't really fit for Bo Bassett there. Nebraska's a very interesting name to be dropped in here. They just finished second. They just picked up A.J. Ferrari. They have a lot of momentum behind their program. They had 2 NCAA champs this year. If they could get Bo Bassett and then Melvin Miller and then also Keegan Bassett on top of what they are already having and what they have developed, Nebraska suddenly has an amazing team. And I think it fits for pretty much everybody involved. Now, the question becomes, does Bo Bassett and company, do they have these demands? Is there really something going on in terms of what kind of requests they're making to these coaches? And is Nebraska able to fulfill those demands? That's probably the biggest question to ask. What kind of, how deep are their pockets, and how aggressive will Bo Bassett's requests be? I mean, we only see him in high school for one more year, so once he's out there, once he's training in Nebraska, it's probably not that big of a deal. And that is kind of the interesting part, right? If Bo Bassett wanted to train at Iowa, why didn't he move there? Well, he's got a really good training situation at up in Bishop McCourt. And so, there's kind of it feels like, maybe we don't have all the facts. Maybe there's some things that we don't fully know about. There's some upcoming deadlines, right? Bo Bassett made that commitment back in February, and between then and now, there has been a change in how NIL deals can be orchestrated and what is allowed in terms of numbers for deals and things that have to be reported. I don't have the full facts. I don't have just all the details, but there was a change, right? Now, what was also going to have to happen was, reportedly, Bo Bassett was set to have an NIL deal of $1 million a year for 5 years. Now, I don't know if that gets paid out at a certain date, but there was a deadline at the end of June, which is 7 days away from now. And so was Tom Brand saying, "Man, you guys want me to fly you out here, have you, set you up to stay at a hotel or something like that, and then I'll also have to pay you $1 million in a week." There is a point where, as a coach, you have to think about, well, where's the line? How far am I willing to go for any recruit, no matter how good they are? And I think that's a valid question to ask. I don't think we have all the facts, but I think if we did, we would be able to say there were some right and wrong choices made on both sides of this situation. I think Tom Brands didn't handle this situation poorly, and I don't think that Bo Bassett and his family, I think that there's a chance that they may have overstepped in terms of what they were demanding. Were these requests of the Iowa coaching staff, were they being made this way from the very beginning? Back in February, was Bo Bassett saying, "Hey, this is what I want to do," or were things slowly ramping up? We don't know. We'll never know. But this is there is a bit of a bright side that can be taken in terms of, hey, Iowa, you have a guy who will, yes, you lost one of the biggest recruits you could get, but you have a coach who is willing to put his foot down and not just roll over for any recruit or any athlete. There is a bright side with that. And then the question is, what program can handle what Bo Bassett is asking for? I don't know. We'll see. So those are kind of the facts. Those are the things that we know. Now, the most interesting information is that short list that we have for Bo Bassett. What is it going to look like moving forward for him in terms of visits, in terms of the recruitment process he's going to go over? How quickly are we going to find out where he ends up committing to? What is that NIL deal going to look like, especially with these new clearinghouse rules or whatever, compliance, something like that? What is all this stuff going to look like? I think that's going to be the most interesting stuff. And I actually don't even remember if Nebraska was on Melvin Miller's short list. But I think it is pretty safe to assume that we're going to see all three of these guys, Bo and Keegan Bassett and Melvin Miller, all three of them end up at the same place. So that is going to be the most interesting thing to look out for moving forward. I don't think Tom Brands is on the hot seat. I don't think Iowa's going to be in too much trouble. They just need to, get back on the recruitment trail and see how good of a job that they can do. But let me know if I put out any wrong facts, or if there are any additives on top of what I've already said that could be great in terms of context. Put those in the comments down below so that people can kind of have a little bit more information, so that they have, all the facts in one place, basically. But that's what I got for today. So that's it.